You don't need to write any exams. Okay, there are agencies. There's this agency called
said it before. Hey,
stop that. Hello guys, welcome once again to my YouTube channel. Today I have here the beautiful Grace from Grace to Excel channel. She's Nigerian, although she's currently living in the US. She's currently secured a job as a physiotherapist in the UK. She'll be moving to the UK very soon. She has a flight booked, she has a COS, she has everything. And today she's going to show us, for those that want to move to the UK as physiotherapists or biomedical scientists, or occupational therapists, you know, all the allied health professionals. She's going to show us how you can also move from Africa or Asia to come and practice your profession in the UK. So thank you so much, Grace. I've had people ask me this for so long now, and I'm happy that you're here to share your process. So can you briefly introduce yourself and then we'll start?
Hello, guys. My name is Grace. Nice to be here. Thank you to the beautiful, wonderful Nanelle. You're an amazing woman and you're an inspiration to all of us. Thank you so much for what you're doing and for being a blessing to your world and your generation.
Thank you.
Yeah. Like Nanelle said, I am Grace. I'm the grace of God. I'm a physiotherapist, and I want to share with you some of my knowledge and information, like Nanelle spoke about, on if you want to make that transition from your home country to live and work in the United Kingdom as a physical therapist, as a speech and language therapist, or occupational therapist, or biomedical scientist. So the first thing that I would encourage anybody to do before you take that step is make sure that you go on the Healthcare Professions Council website. So the Healthcare Professions Council, they are the regulatory body for allied health professions or healthcare professions in general in the United Kingdom. So although they're the regulatory body, depending on whether you're an occupational therapist or a physiotherapist or biomedical scientist, they have like a tailor-made specification regarding your specific degree or your specific profession. But the general gist of it is that you first of all need to be registered as a professional in the healthcare professions before you're able to come to the United Kingdom to live and to work. I mean, there are ways around it, but the first step that you would need to do is basically to get your registration as a healthcare profession in the United Kingdom.
What Grace is trying to say is that just like we have the NMC that regulates nurses and midwives in the UK, so obviously if you want to become a nurse or a midwife in the UK, you have to join their register, you have to register with them. If you want to become a doctor from outside the UK, from somebody that's, let's say, trained in Africa or wherever, you have to join the General Medical Council. So for allied health professionals, you have to join the Healthcare Professions Council. For short, they call it HCPC. Yes, so that's the first step you have. I'll leave a link to the website in the description so that people can go there. So when they go there, then they have to go to the international applicant side of it and then fill in their details.
You're 100% correct, Nanelle. So when you go there, if you're a physiotherapist, you go on the section with international applicants, like Nanelle just said, and then depending on your specific occupation, if you're a physiotherapist, if you're an occupational therapist, or a biomedical scientist, or speech and language therapist, depending on, or radiographer, depending on which one you are, then under the international applicants, it would then also take you to your specific profession. And then you can look at all the guidelines where you and how you can register.
Do I have to pay to be registered? Is there an amount I have to pay?
Yes, there is a fee, but like on the website, it lists everything that you need to do. So basically, they're going to review your course from your home country to make sure that your course is basically on par with the standards in the United Kingdom. And then they also request you to provide certain information, which I would really, really strongly encourage everybody. Make sure you read everything on the application. Make sure you provide them with everything, because right now, a lot of people want to get registered as highly skilled professionals in the UK. So it's a good idea that if you're going to make your application, they're going to ask for your address, they're going to ask for your telephone number, those kind of information. Make sure that you give an address and a telephone number that is like really, really something that you're using, or even your email address, because you don't want to be in the middle of moving, for example, and then you make your application and then you move and they send you information and you're not able to receive it. So make sure you read the application thoroughly, provide everything that they've asked you to provide, and then depending on your profession will determine how much you need to pay to be registered. For physiotherapists, because I know this, I think it's going to be around 500 pounds mark. I'm not 100% sure for occupational therapists, but it might be the same. But once you make that payment and your application has been approved, the only thing you would now need to do is every year you would need to make like a renewal payment to renew your license. I think the license for physiotherapists anyway is once you get your initial license, then after 2 years, you're going to make another payment to renew your registration. But I think that's the same for most other professions as well.
Let's say I go on the website. Let's say I'm a radiographer from Ghana. Then I go on the website and then I fill the form. Would they ask me to upload, let's say, transcripts and school certificates and those things as well? So they would ask me to upload all those things. And then after that, I'll pay the amount. And then how long do I have to wait to get an approval from them?
Okay, so from what I know, the recent information, when I spoke to them, they said the application, once you upload all the information that has been requested from you, the application takes between 4 to 6 weeks. But because right now, a lot of people are going through this process, it might take longer, so don't get discouraged. But the main thing is making sure that you provide everything that they've asked you to provide. Make sure that you give them like a most current address or address of a family member or somebody you know, that as soon as they get the information. Also, right now, I know they did updates where most of the applications are online. So normally they used to do like mail applications, but I think they had a recent update where most of the applications are online. So if you're applying online, please, please, please make sure that you give them a really accurate and active email, because that's how they're going to be corresponding with you. You can also, if you're in your home country, call the Healthcare Professions Council. But you know, there's going to be international charges and international fees associated with that. You can call to speak to someone, but mainly their mode of communication would be through your email. So make sure that you have an active current email that you can receive information on. And if they need more documentation, yeah.
Let's say after the 68 weeks, I get an approval. What next?
That's like amazing. That's a great, great, great big hurdle that you've passed. So you get the approval, because with that registration, you can work anywhere in the United Kingdom. So if you have that under your belt, the next thing.
So does that mean that once that registration has been approved, that's it, I don't need to write any exams?
You don't need to write any exams. The only exam that you might need to do, especially like if you're a physical therapist, would be the IELTS or IELTS, like they call it, which is the test of English language. If you studied in English in your country, they might be able to waiver it for you if you can really argue your case. I know one person that like she kind of blagged it and said to them like, all my degree, all my transcripts are in English. I speak English. I'm speaking to you fluently in English. And just based off of that, they were able to waive that for her. But for the most part—
What country was that person from?
I'm not sure if she's from Tanzania or Kenya, but I was speaking to her and she said she didn't have to do the exam. And she just like spoke to them and pleaded her case, and like they waived it. But for most people, I would definitely recommend for you to do like the IELTS.
If you're not from a major English speaking country, you'd have to write the IELTS exam, right? IELTS Academic UKVI, preferably.
Yes.
And what is the required score to join the HCPC register?
You shouldn't get anything below 6.5. Anything 7.0 or 7 and above is fantastic. You shouldn't get anything below 6.5.
I'll leave details to all this in the description so you can head over and then also read for yourself.
So the other things that you also probably need to do outside of like getting your healthcare professions registration, which is a positive, getting the IELTS is something that's really major. And then they might ask you also for other things like, I know Nanelle knows all of this because she's amazing and she does her research very well. Things like your basically a police report to show that you don't have any criminal record in your country of origin. They also would require you to provide like a tuberculosis test results, but the police report and the tuberculosis test result, I would really strongly recommend maybe do it closer to the time when you've applied for jobs, you've had your interview, they've given you your job offer, and maybe you've received your certificate of sponsorship. So the certificate of sponsorship is basically the employer would give that to you once they give you a job and they accept you for a job.
I have used the link in the description. I have gone to the HCPC website. I have searched for the international application side. I have searched for, let's say I'm a radiographer, I've searched for the parts for radiographers. And then I have filled everything. I have submitted everything. I have paid the fee. 6 to 8 weeks later, they have approved. Then I want to write my IELTS exam. I have booked my IELTS and I'm not supposed to get anything below 6.5. So 7 and above, but nothing below 6.5. So I've finished the IELTS and everything. Now I have to search for jobs myself, right?
Right.
So there's no agency that can assist. Don't you have agencies that assist allied health professionals?
Okay, there are agencies. One very, very good agency is, there's this agency called Sorry Physio. Sorry Physio, they're an agency that I know that they're very, very good. And they have a good like relationship with the Home Office. So if you're looking for an agency to help you, that would be one major agency that I would recommend. There's another one called Connect Physiotherapy. They're also a very, very good agency. And the third one that I would give you now is Pulse International Recruitment. They also recruit for physiotherapists. So those are three very, very good agencies that you can use.
So
outside of
do they only recruit physiotherapists? Don't they recruit biomedical scientists and occupational therapists? It's just physiotherapists?
No, you're 100% correct. They recruit like all allied healthcare professionals, like the ones you just mentioned, occupational therapists, biomedical scientists. They recruit that, nurses, like, so they're very good, but they're very, very good. Like,
so you know that now that there's a ban on active recruitment for people from some particular countries. There are 47 countries on the list. They said that if you're from any of these countries, you don't have to use an agency when you're coming to work in the UK as a healthcare professional. You're supposed to apply directly. And do you know whether these agencies your case is different because you are in America, so that does not affect you? Do you know much about it? Do you know whether they are allowed to recruit from red list countries?
From what I know Pulse International, Connect, those three agencies, I know they recruit from all over the world, India, Pakistan, I'm not Nigeria, to some extent, as long as you have your healthcare professions registration. For those three, most of their requirements is that if you already have your healthcare professions registration, it makes it easier for them to assist you to get a job.
So if I'm not getting an agency, what are some of the job sites that I can find a job for an allied health professional? Mm-hmm.
So a very good one is Indeed. Indeed, international recruitment is like a really, really good one that you can look on. They have a lot of jobs. You can also go to NHS jobs. There's also like a NHS website called Track Jobs, but you have to create a profile. You have to register with them and create a profile, and they're going to give you updated, you have to create your profile and select the jobs that you're applying for. If you're like applying for physiotherapy jobs, then they're going to give you also a region where you're looking. I would highly recommend, if you're coming new to the United Kingdom, maybe look a little bit more out on the outskirts of London, because London is really, really saturated, but maybe on the outskirts it's not that bad. So you just set your profile. If you're a physio, if you're occupational therapist, if you're a biomedical scientist or speech and language therapist or radiographer, you set that criteria, and every week they update you on job. And you can also always use Google and LinkedIn. LinkedIn is another networking, job recruitment that you can use. Yeah.
Okay, so once I apply for the job, and let's say my profile gets picked up by the employer, then they would request for an interview. They would do the interview online. If I'm able to impress them, then they would, let's say, give me an offer letter and then a contract, and then they'll give me the COS, which is the most important document in the whole process. Then you can use the COS together with the TB certificate you mentioned, and then the police clearance and everything to apply for your visa to come and work. So with your process, how long did it take you?
Yeah, it took me about I'll say 2 months from when I interviewed and I got my COS, and then I applied for my visa. But my visa was a little bit delayed because I think right now because of the war in Ukraine, a lot of people are finding that their visas are a bit delayed because they're giving priority to the people that are coming as refugees, I think, to the UK from Ukraine. So if maybe you're in that category where you've done all the applications and you're still waiting for your visa to be approved, it could be that might be the reason why it's been delayed. Another thing that happened with me was that I think the job, the office where I'm going to be working, they didn't complete their registration, I think, with the health sector in the UK. So because they also have to pay a surcharge to the government to be able to have the license to give the certificate of sponsorship to you. So if maybe they offer you a job and it's taking some time, it could be that on their end also, they may be working on finalizing everything so that they would be an approved employer for international recruitment. So just think about some of those things and be a bit patient. I had to learn to be patient dealing with all this stuff.
So what would you say was the most challenging part of the whole process?
I think for me, the challenging part, because I was really, really excited and I wanted to jump straight in and come to work in the UK, but my visa it's supposed to be 15 days, but it took about 4 weeks, and I wasn't really understanding what was going on, but they now explained to me that it was because of the war in Ukraine.
So do you have any idea how much allied health professionals make in the UK? Do you have any idea how much physiotherapists earn or radiographers earn, or?
Mainly physiotherapists and occupational therapists. It depends on your experience and your banding. In the UK, they have the banding in nursing, where they have the band 5, which is the entry level. The band 5 might earn anywhere between 19,000 or 20,000 to 22,000. For a band 6, depending on your experience, again, you could earn anywhere between 25,000 to 27 or 32,000 or 36,000 if you're on the higher end of your banding. And then for a band 7, they earn maybe from between 38,000 to 40,000 or 45,000, depending on, again, your experience. But what I would really say is, if you know your stuff, if you're very confident, if you're able to negotiate very well in your interview and show them that you really do know and you know your worth and your value, then that's obviously going to help you a long way. Because I know people that have applied for maybe a band 5 or band 6 position, and one person is getting paid maybe 36,000 per annum, and the other person is getting paid 30,000, just because one of them is able to market themselves, interview well, show their skills very well, be confident when they did their interview. So those things help a long way as well. Yeah.
Okay. By the way, the figures that Grace mentioned, they are all per year. It's not per month. I'm really surprised. So there's no other exams aside the English language evidence. And when I finally come to the UK, will I be required to do any exams as well? So, or nothing at all?
When you come to the UK, you wouldn't, as long as like your educational credentials, you're able to show like on your transcript, make sure your transcripts are accurate, they're not fake, make sure that like they give like a breakdown of all the modules, because everything is module related: anatomy, physiology, functional anatomy, all those things. As long as your university transcripts can show that you did cover all those things, then you should be in good standing, and then you wouldn't need to. But if you don't have some of those courses, then you might be required to go and do some of like extra top-up courses to show validation that your education matches up with the UK standards. Yeah.
And by the way, when you're coming, you're also on the health and care visa, right? You come on the health and care visa. So you are given usually 3 years, and then you can come with your partner and your children. And then after the 3 years, the employer
Yeah, you can come with your family. Yeah.
It's frozen.
You can. Luckily for me, I got the 5 year.
You got 5 years?
The 5 years. So that was like, oh my God. Like,
wow.
Yeah, I was surprised. Like, they gave me the 5 years. So that was a blessing. I'm really grateful.
So you can straight ahead apply for permanent residency after the 5 years?
Yes, you can. Yeah.
And then after 12 months after being on the permanent residence, you can apply for your British passport.
As long as you don't have any criminal record.
Yeah, as long as you're all right. So thank you so much. Your final words.
Make sure you focus on your dreams. Remember to take action. Research, take action, because it's your dream, and Nanelle will give you all the motivation, information, but you have to take action to make it come to life.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Grace, for gracing our channel today. Guys, I'll leave a link to Grace's channel in the description, and I'll leave a screenshot of how her page looks like on the screen so you can see, and then head over and then subscribe. And for all allied health professionals, you can ask her all your questions, because I may not be in the best position. She has been through it, and she's relocating to the UK, so she'll be the best person to tell you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.